All right, welcome back, everybody, to Crockett Corner, episode 24. And I have the pleasure of speaking with the voice of your Sioux Falls Stampede, Jim Olander. Jimmy, good morning.
Good morning. Great to be here.
So we had a good weekend? Question mark?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, right? We started the Western Conference Final against Fargo. Had a really good game one on Friday night. Scored 4 goals in, I think, the first 12 minutes of the game. And I think kind of caught Fargo a little bit by surprise. And, we ended up winning 6-2 and took game one. So that was fun. And then, we knew game two was obviously in the playoffs. It's going to be a battle. Those kind of games are usually few and far between in what you had in game one. And, we had a pretty good battle in game two. We fell behind 1-0 and were able to come back and tie the game in the second period. And, we're out shooting Fargo 2-1 the whole game. I think we ended up with 44 shots or something like that on net, and had some good opportunities. And then with, 2.5 minutes left, J.J. Montero scored what appeared to be a pretty big goal for us that we thought was going to lead us to victory. And unfortunately, Fargo challenged it. And after what was an extremely long delay, probably about 10 minutes of looking at it, they determined that there was goaltender interference and wiped the goal away. So that was certainly very disappointing, and certainly not a call that we agree with. But those things happen sometimes, and as luck would have it, you don't want to think that way, but right, when something like that happens, usually it doesn't. Usually you don't turn around and get a lucky bounce or something, and say, "Oh, it was no big deal." And sure enough, we had a really entertaining overtime with Fargo, and both teams had some good chances. And I think with about 3 minutes left, they made a great play and scored on a great shot from the left circle that went right under the crossbar, and unfortunately took the game. So, even the series at 1-1 could have easily been 2-0, very similar to the last series that we were talking about with Lincoln, where we won game one and lost game two in overtime. Exact same situation here. And, but overall, I think the good news is, we're playing much better than we did in those first 2 games against Lincoln, and probably deserved to win, but it's playoffs. Sometimes that happens, and now we got to get ready.
Yes, and my favorite part of the game is always talking with Coach afterwards, because you and I have talked the last couple of years. He's a very good coach.
Yes,
he doesn't take junior hockey very lightly.
No,
he's here to win. What did he have to say?
Yeah, he obviously was disappointed. He didn't agree with it, but at the same time, I think has the right attitude that we all kind of have to take, and that is, we can kind of sit here and sulk about it and complain. Not going to do us any good, or we can look at the positives that we had from the first 2 games and know that we were the better team. And, if we put forth that effort, we're going to be rewarded and put ourselves in a good chance to win the series. So, I think you have to kind of take the attitude of use it as motivation. I don't know that you necessarily can completely forget about it, but things happen. Calls aren't going to go your way, and you could argue that again. We score a goal before that, and that goal doesn't matter as much, right? So I think you can maybe just use it as a little bit of a chip on your shoulder that you feel that you probably should have had the win, but you got to come out and you got to play and be ready to go. Because right now, Fargo's feeling pretty good about themselves. They kind of accomplished, I think, what they wanted to do as the road team, right? And that was win one of 2 games. And the good news is for us is obviously we'd love to win both in Fargo, but at the same time, I think we can take the weekend approach the very same, because we worked hard to get that home ice advantage. And if we can get a split, then we can bring a game 5 back home to Sioux Falls and get another chance to use our home ice to hopefully advance.
Yeah, and with I'll refer to the Minnesota Wild because we're both Wild fans. Dallas Stars, always a thorn on our side. For the Stampede, other than the Sioux City Musketeers, it's always the Fargo Force that's a thorn in our side. So, yeah, we got to take this very seriously.
Yeah, they've been a big rival of ours, and they had our number this year. We went 2-6 against them in the regular season, but it's been an interesting regular season series too, and just that a lot of the games were close, and a couple games, we had leads and let slip away. So it isn't. I think we had a lot more confidence coming into this one, feeling like even though our record maybe wasn't as good, we've had some pretty good battles with them. Just unfortunately some bad luck, and that kind of happened in game number 2. But I think it's a much different feeling right now through the first 2 games than we had with Lincoln. With Lincoln, we didn't feel like we played our best hockey. Could have been up 2-0 in that series. We're an overtime goal away from being that. And then unfortunately, we didn't play well in game 3. And then we finally got back to our mojo in game 4 and 5. And, I think that's kind of spoiled over or spewed over into this next series. So I think we feel like we're playing some pretty good hockey right now, and we've just got to continue that and get a couple days rest, get ready to go, and be ready come Friday night. We know that Fargo's going to have the home ice. They're going to have their crowd behind them. We know we're going to have some fan support too, which is going to be awesome. And again, we were the best road team in the league all season, so going on the road and winning is not something that's new to us. Hasn't been a challenge. So we've got to use that confidence from the regular season, and we know that we've got to find a way to score goals. They're a very good team. There's a reason that they beat us this year in the regular season. There's a reason that they're number 2. That's what the playoffs are all about. You're going to play good teams, and they're here for a reason as well. And but if we play our game and if we get our guys contributing like we know they can, we're going to give ourselves a really good chance to win and hopefully advance and get this thing to the Clark Cup final.
Yeah, the series tied 1-1, heading to Fargo this Friday and Saturday. And I notice you guys have a support bus or 2 heading up.
We do. We've got an opportunity for Friday and Saturday. There'll be separate buses, and I think our magic number is 40 people that we got to get to get that bus going. So you can sign up if you go to our social media, our Facebook page, SF Stampede. You can find a link right there. You can fill it out. You have until the end of the day Tuesday to sign up and have a chance to be on the bus. So I think it's only $60, and it includes a ticket to the game. It gets you a ride. It'll leave Friday's game. For Friday's game, we'll be leaving Friday afternoon, coming back after the game on Friday, and then Saturday's bus will leave Saturday afternoon and come back after the game on Saturday. So you can sign up for both if you want to go to both games. If one or the other works better for your schedule, you can sign up. But as long as we get to that magic number, we'll take the buses up there and go on to cheer on the Herd.
So they can sign up for Friday's bus on the way up and Saturday's bus on the way home if they want to go to both games.
They could, yes,
okay.
Absolutely, they could do that. Yeah, if they wanted to stay up, they can do that as well. Whatever they want to do, but you do have that opportunity and that option.
So, what do you see from the boys this weekend? You keep saying if we play our game, what is our game? What do you think you're going to get from them this couple?
Well, I think you need your top guys to perform. We need to find a way to score more goals. I mean, we scored 6 in game 1, so we certainly know. But they have a great goaltender. They have a really good defensive team. I think we had, like I said, I think it was 44, 45 shots in game number 2. So, you've got to make those count. You've also got to get some traffic in front of the net. You got to take away the goaltender's eyes so that you can try to create some more scoring opportunities. I thought there were some rebounds in game 2 that we kind of left that we weren't able to get to. So we got to clean that up a little bit. And I think if we get everybody clicking, you need everybody on the same page. You can't have any. We often talk about passengers on the bus. You can't have any passengers. We can't have people watching what's going on. You're at this point of the year where everybody's got to have their A game because if you don't, it only takes 1 or 2 guys that can be the difference in you advancing in the series or not. So if we come ready, like I know we will, and get off to a good start and get that energy. We've been a team all season where once we get 1, we tend to get 2, 3. So I think our start on Friday night is going to be extremely important, especially on the road, and not necessarily that you even need to, obviously scoring a couple goals like we did in game 1 would be huge, but I think it's more of just kind of setting the pace and the tone of the game. You don't want to get on the road. You don't want to fall behind by a couple of goals early, and then you're chasing the entire game trying to get back into it. So I always think of the first 10 minutes of you're on the road and you can just play, as we say, just a good solid road period, which kind of means nothing's happening. You're kind of taking their crowd out of it. You're just kind of getting into the game. I think that's going to put us in a very good spot. And as the game goes on, we tend to get better and we'll start to create those chances. But we've got to come out with some fire. They're going to have some fire. They're feeling good. And hopefully I think we just have to play a little bit of a chip on our shoulder, feeling like, hey, we could easily be up 2-0. Let's show it and be ready to go from the opening puck drop.
So let's say the weekend split again, then what happens?
Yeah, so then we'd have a Game 5 on Tuesday, next Tuesday, May 12th. So 7:05 at the Premier Center, and the winner of this series goes on to the Clark Cup Final to play the winner of the East, and whoever wins this series, just based on records, will host Game 1 of the Clark Cup Final, which would be already next Friday night. So just in over a week that the Clark Cup Final will start as well. So these series, although they're extended over a couple of weekends, they go pretty quick. So just much like this last series where we won Game 5 on a Tuesday night and turned around and played Friday night in Game 1, that could be happening as well for either team. So hopefully we can get up to Fargo and get a win or two would be great to give us a little extra rest. But this is going to be a good series. We knew it was going to be a battle. Nothing's going to be easy, and I think that's what makes playoff hockey fun. Every shift, every play matters, and you're going to see that. And I think the people that have come to games 1 and 2 or any of the playoff games so far, you've seen that. There's just even in the crowd, there's just a different energy. There's a different vibe, and we need it. We need our fans behind us. In Lincoln, we had that fan bus in that game number 4, and no doubt that helped push our guys. I mean, our fans were out screaming the Lincoln fans, and players took notice, and that made a huge difference. So getting up to Fargo and just showing the boys support, they do hear it, they do see it, and that could be the extra push that we need to hopefully get us over the top.
How do they find the fan bus again?
Yeah, you can go to the easiest, probably our social media pages. If you go to SF Stampede, you can find us on Facebook. We just put up a post on there. You can click on the link. There's just a Google form that you have to fill out to sign up for Friday and or Saturday's game, your choice, or you can do both and have some fun with the Stampede and Stampede fans this weekend.
Yes, and come on out. Come on, let's cheer the boys on. Let's bring the cup back to the Sioux Empire.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we want to do. That's the goal here. And, this is a tight-knit group, as you know, Ray, and I know they don't want the season to end. So they stepped up against Lincoln. I think for us, we'd prefer to not put ourselves in a spot again where we have to win the last 2 games, but that's what home ice is for, and hopefully we'll see what happens in Fargo. Like I said, winning 2 would be the goal, but really we just need to win 1 to at least get it back home and give ourselves a chance in a winner-take-all game number 5 in front of our home fans. So fans do make a difference. We've had great support all season, great support in the playoffs, and there's nothing better than Clark Cup hockey in the middle of May. So it's we want to extend our season a couple more weeks here and keep this thing going.
Jamie, thanks for stopping by, buddy.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.